Elon Musk has become public enemy number one, not due to one circumstance, but multiple instances where the Twitter CEO has shown his vulnerabilities. Let's look at them in detail. Twitter CEO Elon Musk on 2nd of January said that he would release Twitter files of Dr. Anthony Fauci, US top infectious disease expert, later this week. Musk has released many shocking internal Twitter conversation, which he has named Twitter files, claiming that the information discloses the platform's previous efforts to suppress free speech, especially from conservative voices. In the latest series of Twitter files, Musk has claimed that the US government agency demanded the suspension of 250,000 accounts, including journalists and Canadian officials. Earlier in December, Musk in a tweet took a jibe using gender pronouns and used it as a way to criticize Anthony Fauci, calling for his prosecution. In a tweet, he wrote, "My pronouns are prosecute Fauci." Anthony Fauci, the US infectious disease expert, faced a lot of flack due to his strict COVID measures policies, including mandatory masks, social distancing, isolation, etc. He came into the limelight after he took the front seat in COVID management in the USA. However, he faced even death threats for doing his job during the pandemic, reported Reuters. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre had also called out Musk's public condemnation of top US health official dangerous and disgusting. "They are disgusting, and they are divorced from reality, and we will continue to call that out and be very clear about that," Jean-Pierre had said. She also praised Fauci's handling of public health crises, including the coronavirus pandemic. The veteran immunologist has served as an advisor to 7 US presidents, beginning with Republican Ronald Reagan, and has had over 50 years of public service. But it was his handling of COVID and his blunt assessments from the White House podium that Americans needed to change their behavior in light of the pandemic that made him a hero to public health advocates while serving under former President Donald Trump, a villain to some on the right, and an unusual celebrity among bureaucratic officials used to toiling in obscurity. In other news related to the Twitter CEO and some Elon Musk-related antics on the platform, Twitter on Wednesday suspended accounts that track the locations of private airplanes, including one that tracked CEO Elon Musk's jet, which was reinstated by the evening. Musk tweeted that the accounts violated Twitter's doxing rules, meaning they revealed non-public personal information. The account @ElonJet, which had amassed more than 500,000 followers, was listed Wednesday morning as suspended for having violated unspecified Twitter rules. Later in the day, Twitter accounts tracking the jets of Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg and Amazon founder Jeff Bezos were also suspended. The Musk tracking account was created by Jack Sweeney, 20, a Florida college student. Sweeney's personal Twitter account was also suspended Wednesday. Musk went further Wednesday evening when he said he would pursue legal action against Sweeney after he claimed a stalker confronted a car carrying Musk's child Tuesday night in Los Angeles. Musk did not say whether the police were called. Spokespeople for the Los Angeles Police Department and the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department were unable to confirm that any report was made without more information. The @ElonJet account was briefly reinstated Wednesday evening after attention was called to the suspension, but by Wednesday night it appeared to have been suspended again. Other social media accounts created by Sweeney tracking Musk's jet, including ones on Instagram and Telegram, remained active. The Twitter safety account addressed changes to policy Wednesday evening, noting that it decided to ban posts on other people's live locations because of increased risk of physical harm. Elon Musk's purchase of Twitter does not seem to be going well. Just 3 weeks after buying the company, Musk had fired the entire executive suite and half the staff, fired dozens more for insufficiently slavish devotion, and most recently has apparently driven off something like 40% of those who remain with an abrupt demand to submit to a hardcore new contract without most of the relevant details. Though Twitter is still functioning at the time of writing, in my experience it has become notably more glitchy and is swarming with bots. Informed observers are predicting that absent a major change of course, serious technical instability, major security breaches, or even total collapse are just a matter of time. I know of 6 critical systems, like serving tweets level of critical, which no longer have any engineers, one former employee told the Washington Post. There is no longer even a skeleton crew manning the system. We can conclude one thing from this mess for sure. The oligarch class has entirely too much money. Before buying Twitter, Musk had spent $4 billion buying its stock and had to spend another $20 billion out of pocket to complete the purchase. Since then, he has sold another $4 billion in Tesla stock to cover expenses, for a total of about $28 billion spent out of pocket. That is roughly equal to the GDP of Jamaica, but at the time it was only a small part of Musk's fortune, which peaked at $340 billion in November last year, possibly besting John D. Rockefeller for an all-time record in modern history. At the time he offered to buy, Musk's net worth hovered around $300 billion, or roughly the GDP of Finland. Twitter has also been threatened with sanctions by EU politicians who say changes made at the social media platform under the new ownership of billionaire Elon Musk could breach regulations. The EU's toughest new rules will apply to social media platforms with at least 45 million monthly users, and there's been speculation Twitter may not qualify, according to the Associated Press. Before Musk purchased Twitter for $44 billion in a deal that was finalized in October, the platform reported 238 million users, but Musk said at the time that the number of fake accounts on Twitter had been underreported. The EU requires platforms to report their user numbers by mid-February. Since Mr. Musk bought the social media site in October, he has fired about half of its staff and attempted a rollout of Twitter's paid-for verification feature before putting it on pause. The feature was relaunched last week. Long story short, civil liberties groups have criticized his approach to content moderation, accusing him of taking steps that will increase hate speech and misinformation. Mr. Musk was condemned by the United Nations and European Union over Twitter's decision to suspend some journalists who cover the social media firm. The UN tweeted that media freedom was not a toy, while the EU threatened Twitter with sanctions. This is the first time the multi-billionaire has reported to the poll launched on Twitter asking if he should resign. More than 17.5 million users voted, with 42.5% voting no to Mr. Musk stepping down. Finding someone to take over the social media platform may be a challenge, according to Mr. Musk. After laying off Twitter staff last month, the billionaire reportedly told remaining workers that the company he just bought could see net negative cash flow of several $billions in 2023, and bankruptcy is not out of the question.